Good evening. Welcome one and all for today's session. Thank you. Thank you for your patience. And as we have more people joining, it would be great. So this session is happening because of Sister Hema, who insisted she wants to have this to create awareness, to bring in more women in coordination with Mrs. India Heritage team. We are doing this. Thank you one and all for joining once again. So over to Hema to take it forward.
Good evening, everybody. I thank Vicky and Kalyani and Seema ma'am for giving me this opportunity. Being a part of Vicky, I thought I should bring in my another team of ladies. So we all stand up not only for beauty, but we have this concept called Beauty with a Cause. So in association with Sankey and Sandy events, we have joined hands and we're not only having a competition, but then it's a lot of awareness programs that we are trying to create in and around, because I think as a woman, it's an integral part of our life to spread awareness, and it's a part of creating a better society for all of us. So I have written a small bit of an article for the same occasion. So I call it "The Strength of Spirit Counts." I grew up playing around the temple compound with my cousins, carefree and full of energy when I was a 12-year-old to be teen. When my mother took me by my hand and said, "Come, you need to take a shower," I frowned. "Ma, I just finished my bath, don't you know?" She said, "Follow me quietly," and I did. I was bleeding, shocked to understand, confused, curious, and trying to comprehend. Yes, it was my first menstrual period. From a clean cotton cloth to the sanitary napkin, from rituals to rich diet, to being smeared in turmeric, from relatives' visits to becoming the talk in the family, till the wedding like celebration to mark the occasion with loads of gifts. My body started changing indeed, hormonal changes and physical appearance that had started making me a little more conscious. I probably started seeing the world around me with a different perspective. Like any other girl, my breast started showing up, wearing stiff undergarments and realizing that it's one of the beauty spots of a growing teenager into an adult. As if giving wings to one's thought, when I saw one of my aunts who had delivered a baby feed the little one, and I was trying to overthink if women would lactate on breast, was somewhat difficult to associate it all. So the pink ribbon drew my attention when my school had arranged for a program on one of the days in October. It was nothing less than unveiling a mystery when I was educated about my own body. Cancer was the word that made me inquisitive. They showed us videos on how to identify the common signs and symptoms of a painless lump, a bloody discharge, scratchiness, hard nodules on the skin, swelling in armpits, retraction of or dimpling on the skin, change in volume or shape of the breast. Screening to be done mandatorily as a part of normal health checkup so as to detect early stages of the possible disease. In India, it is usually detected during the third or the fourth stages of acquiring cancer, which has a lower rate of survival, whereas in the West, it's not an alien word. Hence, screening helps them detect during stage 1 or 2 itself. Taking health as a priority, especially by the Indian women, has become an essential mindset to ward off the complications of the disease itself later. Let's not hush about the biological natural process of human anatomy. It's a high time we stop feeling shy about our body. Let's break the myth and join the pink revolution. Awareness by women, especially through word of mouth and social awareness, really helps. Thank you.
Excellent. Very nice. Very nice. Wonderful. Great. Thank you, Sister Hema. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So as we move on from here, I would like to introduce Dr. Malik Singaraju, who's with us today. So could you enable your camera, please? Good evening, sir. Thank you for accepting and coming again for a session with us. We really obliged to you for this. So those of you who have seen our previous session, has attended it, I'm sure you all know Dr. by now, but those of you who are coming here for the first time, Dr. Malik Singaraju is MBBS, MD, FAG, PDCR, consultant radiation oncologist of Continental Hospitals, Gachibowli. He's best known as oncologist, researcher, and he's a co-author of many medical books. He has over 15 years of experience in clinical practice, and he's one of the few radiation oncologists who is well versed with the latest radiation technologies. I'm not going into all those technologies. He is one of the very few radiation oncologist who has worked on specific and unique kind of technologies in Hyderabad. And he's a recipient of Vidyaratna Award for Outstanding Services to Community in 2017, Best Radiation Oncologist for the year 2020 from Businessman Star Gold Awards for services offered to the community in 2020. He's also enrolled in Guinness Book of Records for the participation in largest breast cancer screening in the year 2016. So we are truly honored and privileged to have you for the session today, where we are creating awareness about breast cancer. Thank you so much, sir, for being here.
Thank you so much, Kalyani ji. And Hema ji, it's very beautifully written. Actually, there's nothing more for me to speak. Now you have given all the medical information in such a nice, beautiful way. And actually nothing more I can speak. So very, very nice, well written.
Good evening, Doctor. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to have you again. And you accepted our request for the second time. We are so honored, sir. Because after your first session, I realized that a lot of we women who think we are quite educated are yet to learn a lot about our own body. And I think that's most essential. And I'm sure we are all going to be your ambassadors, taking your message back to the community. So thank you so much.
Yes, I agree with Sister Hema. And like we were talking before the call, we got to make this awareness more intense. And what's coming in January, we definitely look forward to make it in a very big way, where we would request Sir to come again and create awareness even then.
Definitely, we will do it, Kalyani ji.
Thank you, sir. So just before we could start the session, I just would like to bring this to notice of everybody. Today, in association with Rotary Hyderabad, sir had conducted a walk, morning walk at Hyderabad in one of the parks. And quite a bit of people were there morning 6 o'clock to 7:30. And the videos what he posted on Facebook and other social media was really amazing. I felt, how could I miss that? I wanted to do something here, but I said I slept off, so I couldn't. But definitely I'm a part here, so trying to do something best over here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the pictures. So if I'm sharing my screen, so these are some of the pictures. Is my screen visible?
Yes, yes, yes.
Great. Oh, yes, he's an actor. I remember.
Yeah, actually, he is Mr. Sasipritham. He is a well-known music director. I think, Kalyani, if you listen to Telugu songs, he was a music director of Gulabi movie.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah. And all these people, they have their own movie, actually. They're releasing their new movie. So they also wanted to support our cause. So he is our additional commissioner of police, additional DGP. And so a few lady officers also have come to participate along with us.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. That person in red T-shirt, I see him in my mom's serial.
He acts in serial. Yeah, he's a Lohit Kumar.
Yes, I've seen him in my mom's serial. I remember that. That's how I remember. My mom's serial, because I don't watch. Sorry. I hope my mom is not hearing me. Wow. This is wonderful. So many people.
And people actually, I didn't expect so many people to turn up, to be honest. I thought we'll get some 40, 50 people.
There's so many men out there supporting the cause. That's
yes.
a view to watch.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Oh, look
And
at the kids.
he's my son, and
Oh.
one of our cousin.
So cute. That's so sweet. The kids are coming up. I mean, it's much needed. That's wonderful.
That is something I didn't expect. We had some 15, 20 kids, less than the age of 14 years joining us.
Wow. That's wonderful. That's really wonderful. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, sir,
Yeah.
for sharing the pictures. It's really motivating and inspiring. I think our council members, Chechi and Hema sister, we have to plan something like this for Jan.
We will, ma'am. We'll
For
make it
upcoming
big.
events. With
Yeah.
the COVID restriction coming down, we have to do something. Wonderful,
Definitely.
sir. It's really motivating
Thank
and
you so much.
inspiring. So it's all yours, sir. Thank you to have you here and thank you for this inspiration.
Kalyani ji, as we were talking last time, and aptly the way Hemaji has put up the concept of breast cancer awareness in a very beautiful way. No, what can I say more than that? Because the changes happening for a female from the start of menarche to the menopause, the most important thing is to identify what are the natural changes occurring in the body from the what are the abnormal changes occurring in the body. So here the most important thing is sometimes we do get panic thinking that all lumps are cancers, lumps or any changes are happening. Sometimes we get panic. Yeah, sometimes it is very important to be aware, but you don't have to be panicked. And most importantly, people should have courage to visit the doctor. There's a main barrier what we are facing. Like it was mentioned by Hemaji that most of the patients in India are diagnosed in third stage and fourth stage. It's a very true fact. Previously it was cervical cancer, but now more and more breast cancer patients are coming, both in the rural and urban areas. And definitely they're detected in much advanced stages compared to Western countries. In Western countries, they have a mandatory screening programs. Apart from that, any abnormality, any problem, immediately they visit the doctor and consult the physician. Here, the taboo is there. Still, they just go to some gynecologist, and many times what is happening, I'm really sorry to say this word, many times when gynecologists, they don't really pay their attention. They focus on the area what they're interested. So just to give they write some painkillers and they'll send them something, because sometimes they're missed, even with a gynecologist, or sometimes they're missed actually. But always better to visit a doctor. So that's the main barrier of what we are facing here. But once the people are more aware about the disease and start going for screening program, because what is happening, previously in Western countries, only breast cancer was number one. But now in India and even worldwide, even African countries, other countries also, more and more breast cancers are being diagnosed. And yeah, you made an observation that more men are seen participating. There's one very curious, interesting, observation I'll tell you. In last 10 to 15 years, we are seeing more male breast cancer patients. Previously, according to studies, according to literature, we say only 1% of whole breast cancer patients are male, but now it is definitely increasing. I think the new statistics have to come up, but more and more male breast cancer patients are being diagnosed. So the most important thing is to be aware of your own body. First thing, that's why I was suggesting to go for breast self-examination last time I was telling. So all the females above the age of 20 years, they should go for monthly breast self-examination. What happens is, now daily chorus and work busy, we really don't give so much importance to our body. But it's very important that every month, at least on a particular day, whichever Sunday or whichever holiday is more comfortable for you, just important to examine the changes happening in the body, not only breast as such, but any kinds of moles or warts, skin changes, or any lumps throughout the body. Actually, ideally, you should give at least 10 to 15 minutes time for the breast examination. Apart from that, you should have a look at your own body so that you can identify any changes happening. So apart from that, after the age of 40 years, definitely if not yearly, at least once in 2 years, females should go for regular screening mammographies. Now here people are afraid of mammography because they think a lot of X-ray exposure, the procedure is inconvenient. It is not painful, but definitely it is little uncomfortable procedure, because a little discomfort will be there during the procedure, but it is very important. And the amount of X-ray exposure also very minimal, because of the latest equipment which are available, digital mammographies and all, the amount of radiation exposure also is very less. So and apart from that, as Hemaji mentioned, any changes like any swellings, lumps are observed in the body, in the breast, or heaviness, pain, or any changes in the skin, or any changes in the nipple retraction, or any bloody or water discharge from the nipple, or any swellings in the axilla or armpit. So they have to be observed and they have to be shown to the physician. And this is very important. And do not forget to go for regular screening. That's very important, because if breast cancer is diagnosed at a very early stage, first stage, second stage, it is totally curable. And I think you can ask any questions, sir, because I don't want to really keep on dragging on this topic again and again. You can go for any questions here.
Excellent, excellent. This is really wonderful, sir, what you're saying. Yeah. So, sisters who are here, do you have any questions? You can start asking. You don't have to wait for me to ask.
Yeah, I forgot to congratulate all the contestants, Hemaji, Poonamji, Poojaji, and any other contestants here. I really congratulate you for coming so far, because I have been associated with Mrs. Telangana here, because many of them are my friends and they participate in a lot of causes, and I help them in their causes, because I have seen what they do, how laborious it is, how many months it takes. And really, I congratulate all of you for coming so far and making it here. It's not only about beauty or figure consciousness, it's really contributing to the society, because that's what I have observed in all these pageants, what people are doing. Because here we have people, I've seen Mrs. Telangana pageants, people working for autism, people are working for psychological issues, so many issues they are working, and some people are working on cancer awareness, a child sex abuse, a different aspect, because this is a contribution for society. Not only, I don't really look at it as a beauty pageant, really this is a contribution to society. And really hats off to all the women there. They're all powerhouses, what I believe.
Yeah. Can I request all the participants to come on the camera, please? We can quickly have a screenshot. So we have Tabassum, we have Pooja Nigam, we have Megha, we have Saumya, Roshni. So, I mean, there are a few contestants who couldn't make it because they're traveling and it's a long holiday.
Yeah,
for
this
Diwali,
is the Diwali weekend, actually. Diwali weekend coming up.
Yeah, if everybody
please come on the video, please. We can all have a picture for a contest also. Megha.
Is this Saumya, my sister Saumya Pantangi?
No idea, ma'am. Please come on the video. I mean, all of you can come on the video, please.
If it is my sister, I'm so proud of you. Of all the family members, 60 people, I've invited at least one person.
No, it does happen. Don't get disheartened. Kalyani ji, it does happen.
Roshni, can you please come on the video, please? Ashwati, Shrija. I mean, if all of us can take a picture.
I know, it will be nice.
Sajini.
Roshni, Mahija.
Yeah, Roshni, Sajini, Saumya, Mahija. Please come on your videos. Please.
Saumya, please come on your video. I want to see if it is my sister.
Vatsala, can you please come on the video, please?
Please come on the video. Thank you, Chechi, for posting it. Shrija? Great.
Shalu, come on your video. We're still learning the technicalities and probably, still shying away from the cameras.
No, I am not very far away from you. Still, I take help of my son to really log into all these sessions.
Okay, ma'am, I think we can have a picture quickly. Seema, ma'am, would you help us with a picture?
I'll take it.
Should we
Whoever
raise a
is-
thumbs up?
I've just taken one screenshot. Just a moment, please. Let me
I
save
think,
this.
yeah. Ma'am, with the count of 3, I think one thumbs up.
Yes, I think that will be good. Yes. So 1, 2, 3. Perfect. I would require another screenshot, I guess.
Maybe victory.
One second. Let me just save
Victory
this.
for against cancer, yeah.
Yeah, that would be good. So let me just save this. No, this is where I get jittery. Okay. One. It's a JPEG. Perfect. Yes. So let's go with another one. So at the count of 3, let's go with the sign of victory. Okay, my fingers are not too big. 1, 2, 3. Let's do it. Perfect. Thank you so much. I don't know, everybody has come. I'll just share the pictures just in case we need to. No, it hasn't come. We'll have to do it again. Sorry. Okay. At the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Perfect. This looks much better than the previous one. Thank you all. Yes, sir, we can proceed. So sisters, please start asking your questions. Okay, Sister Hema, you want to start?
Yeah. So you mentioned about the cancer with males, sir. I was quite taken aback. I mean, I am really not aware of it. Even men do get breast cancer?
Yes, and unfortunately what happens, it is much better in female because immediately they diagnose abnormality, but males, they tend to think it's some kind of fat swelling and they tend to neglect it. And unfortunately, the cancer which comes in males is usually more aggressive compared to the females. And in last 10 years, I said in last 10 years, we are seeing more and more male breast cancer patients. That's something when we are surprised of.
So it is quite treatable, isn't it? I mean, the procedures must be the same.
Yes, definitely. Procedure is almost same. Only thing is a little difference in the females because it is essentially hormone dependent. So in females we use hormone therapy. In males usually we don't have that hormone.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, recently, just during these last 2-3 days, I heard this news. Somebody known to me, the person is not living in India, somewhere in Europe he's living. And he happened to have a tumor and that burst and he passed away. I was shocked. I couldn't believe because that guy is a person who takes care of his health so much and he's a fitness freak. Then somebody was saying it's because of the hormones they take, because of the fitness, what they do, the exercise and that muscle building. Does it happen for all that, sir?
No, the cause could not be because of cancer, maybe some other reason, because it doesn't happen like that much. I don't know, because if he's some really fitness freak and all, he would be aware and must be going and taking treatment. But I don't know what exactly it could be. But even if it is a cancer, yes, I tell you one thing in context of cancer, if there is a tumor cancer very close to blood vessels, always the tumor infiltrates the blood vessels. And definitely always there's a chance of rupture of blood vessel and death. It is quite possible.
Okay. Yeah. Somebody else has any other question? Team? Sister Hema, anybody else from the team you want to nudge them?
There was one of my co-contestant, Likhita, who had actually texted me. Probably she couldn't join today, I think.
Yeah, please.
She had a doubt, sir. She said women do take contraceptive pills to avoid pregnancy and other things. Does those pills actually affect or trigger cancer?
No, previously it was thought that OCP pills contribute to breast cancer, but now that idea is weaning off. There's the good cause, but not the. It is not very significant. The influence of OCPs is not much significant in causing breast cancer.
Okay. Anybody else have any other question? So is cancer related to menopause? I mean,
No. It has nothing to do with menopause. Because Hemaji, continue with the question your friend has asked you. See, the causes are more wide because previously it was thought only because of family history. Yes, family history is very important in breast cancer, especially somebody's mother, grandmother, means mother's mother, or grandma's sisters, or mother's sisters, her own siblings were diagnosed with breast cancer, especially in early stage. Definitely, there's high risk of hereditary. Apart from that, I can tell it's becoming more like a lifestyle disease because excessive, because more and more female people are indulged in smoking, alcohol intake, excess fatty food, and the type of food we take, preservatives in the food, excess fatty food. So all this and type of lifestyle also, more sedentary lifestyle. So all these things contribute. Apart from hormone therapy, what question she asked, apart from hormone therapy, I think these factors play more important role than OCPs.
Okay. Thank you, sir. We have 3 people raise their hand, Tabassum, Soumya, and Pooja. Tabassum, please go ahead and ask the question. You can unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, that's what Hema said. I was pretty shocked because I have studied a lot of breast cancer. I knew it was very less in males when I did my mammography lately. But I never knew it happens in males too. I thought it's really 1% or 2%. So I was pretty shocked to hear. So next time I go, I have to take my husband also and go.
No, as such, the mammography is not recommended for males. Only thing, if there are any changes, they have to identify and meet the doctor. There is no mammography recommendations for males.
Okay.
Because see,
because it's hard to identify in males.
No. Essentially, see, males don't have breasts. So usually, what happens when the breasts are dense and in young females, I can tell till the age of 55 or so, when the breasts are more dense, it is difficult to identify even with breast self-examination. It gets difficult to identify.
Yes.
So that's why you need mammography. For males, there's no recommendation for any mammography. Only if there's any swellings or lumps, if they can feel immediately, they have to consult the doctor. Please don't scare your husband.
I got scared.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Tabassum. We have next is Megha. Megha, you have a question?
Good evening, everyone. Nice to meet you. Doctor, I have one question. What are the symptoms of breast cancer? Because without the symptoms also, some people are getting that breast cancer nowadays. Nearby my neighbor also, she was around 20 to 35 years, I think so. She was like unknowingly she went in hospital for checkup, for general checkup, because she was well fed. She have woman, she have feeded her daughter for 2 years, I think so. She have feeded for 2 years. Then also she have breast cancer. She later on she noticed that. What are the symptoms?
Now, here most importantly nowadays, I want to tell something related to this question. It's a very good question. Nowadays, previously, when we were doing our PG time, we get females above 50 years, 55 years only. But now even females in the late 20s, early 30s, more and more females, even unmarried females, are being diagnosed with breast cancer because of various reasons I mentioned earlier. So, but what happens, I think she must have ignored the symptoms. It really doesn't happen that suddenly overnight she go for a casual checkup, she is diagnosed. It won't happen like that. She must have definitely ignored the symptoms of cancer. Now, as I mentioned earlier, usually if you find something abnormal in the breast, like heaviness in one breast, because maybe I think because as you said, she must have been breastfeeding, she must have thought it's a natural process happening. Because sometimes what happens, the breasts become more heavier. Sometimes when there's breastfeeding, sometimes there'll be, because swelling inside the breast glands. So that they also palpate small hard masses, though they're not cancerous. So she must have got confused with that, but usually we can see the heaviness in one breast compared to other breast, and some swellings or lumps are definitely palpable. Sometimes they will be painful, sometimes they may not be painful also. And usually there'll be some, in the more advanced, you can see the changes in the skin. And sometimes there'll be discharge on the nipple also. Some bloody discharge, some watery discharge. So because she had lactation earlier, maybe she got confused with the changes of the lactation maybe.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, Sister Pooja, you have your question. You can unmute yourself and ask.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Thank you, Hema, for providing this wonderful platform where we can put our, questions and queries. And thank you, Malik sir, join with us and giving all the answers, whatever we have asked. Okay, so I have two questions. Just wanted to know about that. What is the pre-menopause like symptoms? Like if the pre-menopause is started, so what are the symptoms for we diagnose? And second one, how we diagnose that if somebody is having the breast cancer? So yeah, what is the prevention we can take before that?
Pooja, thank you. First thing is somebody is reaching the menopause. Usually we can see the changes in the menstruation pattern. You'll sometimes they'll be having excess bleeding for sometimes they'll be having less bleeding, sometimes it will be frequent, or sometimes it will be very delayed, between the days are delayed. So usually those things are gradually seen. And apart from that, when concerned with breast, usually the breast density and texture is gradually lost when you're reaching towards the menopause. And usually there'll be bones weakness will start. Usually there'll be more osteoporosis, what we call it. These are the main symptoms. And very good. I think, I don't know whether you asked a tricky question to me. What happens? No. This is very good question you asked me. Why I'm telling you like this is, many times what happens, females attaining menopause or post-menopause, they usually tend to have bone pains because of calcium deficiency or osteoporosis. But at the same time, what happens, even in the advanced case of any cancer, I'm not talking only about breast cancer, the cancer usually spreads to the bones. So many times that is missed. People think because of menopausal changes, they keep neglecting that aspect. And they'll be diagnosed in a very late stage that the cancer is spread to the bones. So you should always be a little aware of the changes are physiological changes pertaining to menopause or really any problem in the body. And to the second question which you were asking, how to detect early, same thing, because only thing is to detect the early first way is do breast self-examination. And above the age of 40 years, definitely should go for mammography. It's ideal to go for yearly mammography, or at least once in 2 years also is good enough.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the wonderful answer.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anybody else has got any other question?
I think Shalini ji has a question here.
Yeah.
She's asking, how can we prevent cancer? Yeah, Shalini, actually, there is no formula to prevent cancer, but only one thing we can tell is to maintain a healthy lifestyle. Because what is happening nowadays, we are going through so much. One is stressful life, because people are really undermining the cause of stress, because stress directly affects our immunity. When the immunity is low, everything starting from infections to cancer. A wide variety of diseases affect our body. So it's very important to really overcome that stress in life, to have as much as possible. It's easy to say to have a stress-free life, but as much as possible, try to have a stress-free life. And it's very important to have a regular physical activity, at least 5 days a week. Voluntary physical activity. What happens is usually, especially when it comes to the females, they are having a lot of work to do. They're burdened with too many things, and usually they say that, no, I'm doing household work, I'm working in kitchen, I'm walking so much, but that really doesn't come under regular exercise. At least voluntary 40 minutes of exercise per day, at least 5 days a week. It's very essential. it is either walking or some kind of exercise or yoga, pranayama, anything, whichever suits your body, because everybody doesn't have same formula, because everybody have to accept what your body accepts, how much exercise, how much walking, whatever it is. So it's important to have regular exercise. And more importantly, we should be aware of what we are eating. Now, nowadays, we are consuming food containing a lot of fats. That's not very good. Similarly, nowadays, we're eating more and more foods containing preservatives. And all the preservatives are known to have carcinogens. So it's ideally, people say, it's a common saying that if your food you're taking is not spoiled within 48 hours, that's not good for your health. So what you're going to eat should be spoiled in 48 hours. So if it is not spoiled, it's not good for your health, because they contain a lot of preservatives. So at the same time, you should also avoid smoking and alcohol as much as possible, because it may not be practical to say totally stop smoking, totally stop drinking, but as much as possible, try to reduce the amount of alcohol intake. And similarly, if someone is having a family history of cancer, nowadays so many tests are available, genetic panel, gene panels are available nowadays, so we can identify the risk of developing cancer. So by being more aware of yourself and taking care of your health, definitely you can minimize the chance of getting cancer. I can't tell that you can prevent cancer, but we can always minimize the chances of getting cancer.
Thank you, sir. Any other question?
I'd like to ask one, Kalyani.
Yeah, please.
Sir, would lactating mothers have cancer already by any chance?
Yes, it does happen actually many times. The most challenging thing is we get breast cancer patients during their pregnancy also. And it's a really challenging task, but it does happen. Yes, during pregnancy also we can get females, and during lactation also they can get it. Previously they still that somebody does lactation, lactating mother will never get cancer, but it's not entirely true. That only lactation might reduce the chances of getting cancer, but definitely even the lactating females or females who are lactated also have a good chance of getting breast cancer.
That not affect the child, sir, when the child is getting fed?
No, usually what happens, if mother is having breast cancer, if they feeding the child, no, it won't really, because the cancer cells won't get into the milk and go to the baby. Only thing is, if the mother is taking chemotherapy and all, we'll advise her to stop breastfeeding. If she's on any medication, we'll tell her not to go for breastfeeding.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, that
Chechi,
happens, but Hemaji, that happens many times, because they get confused. They think there's an accumulation of milk, because they think milk is not coming, the accumulation of milk. And it won't subside for quite long time. When they go again, we do the tests, then we diagnose it's not really the collection of milk, there's some other lump there. That's a very common finding. It's not uncommon.
It's a little scary though. I mean,
I know.
many of
I
us
got
realize-
scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Chechi, you had a
Sorry,
question.
my intention is not to scare anyone of you.
I know, sir. I mean,
understand.
when you get to know about this, it is because I've been hearing a series of newses one after the other. It's like shaken me a little bit over these last 4-5 days. And now to this, okay, this is also a possibility. What is happening at the end of the day? It's kind of a puzzling question, but yeah, it is the reality. We have to face it. Yeah. So, Chechi, you had a question you wanted to ask something.
Yeah, not for me. One of my friends joined in this meeting, and she has one lump in her left breast for the last 3 months, and she took protein powder, which she saw in a video. That's why she used protein powder, and just now she has no problem, and the lump is not there. It's no problem, but she's asking any issue with that lump.
No, always better to go for a mammography, because if definitely there's ultrasound guided mammographies are available, if not digital mammography, called as sonomammography. There'll be least, there's no exposure of radiation also. Better to go for mammography and check, because either really there was a lump, or maybe she's still not trying to feel it properly or something. Just better to go for mammography.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Anybody else has got any other question? So this is my question. There are women who have had cervical cancer or uterus cancer. They go through the course, they become survivors. Do they also get breast cancer?
Yeah, actually, once there is a tendency of developing cancer in the body for any reason, there's always a risk for the female to develop second cancers also. That's why follow-up is very essential. We ask the patients to. Here, very unfortunate thing I want to really mention to all of you is, very unfortunate in India, what happens after 1 year or 2 years, they stop coming for follow-up. Either I assume patient is fine or patient is no more. They stop coming for follow-up after 1 year, max 1 year, they'll come after 1.5 years, they stop coming for follow-up. We ask them to come for follow-up. First thing is to know the status of the disease, how well the disease exists. And second thing, we should also look for the recurrence of the same disease or developing new cancer. Definitely once there is, especially if the female is diagnosed with any kind of cancer at early stage. Early stage means less than 45 years, at early age, I'm sorry, less than 45 years. Always there is a risk or chance of developing second cancer. It could be any cancer in the later stage. So it should be always aware of themselves and go for regular follow-up checkups.
Regular checkups is a must. Wow. That is an awareness thing. I'll definitely inform my friends who've gone through. I'm sure they would need that. Any other question?
I have my friend, your Revati is here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she wants to ask.
Yeah, please. Please, Revati, unmute yourself.
Unmute yourself, Revati. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, good evening all. Good evening, doctor. I wanted to ask one question regarding the family history, how family history will determine cancer or any other diseases, sir. How important it is according to you?
Yeah, it is very, welcome Revati ji, and thank you. It is very, very important, especially in breast cancer. Not only in breast cancer, I want to use a wider term. Even in males, when someone, example, father, especially father said somebody is having lung cancer and head and neck cancer, like oral cancer, throat cancer, definitely they have a risk, and especially they start smoking, they have high risk of developing cancer. Similarly, even in breast cancer, definitely the family risk is very high, especially somebody is having mother's side, mother, sisters, or if someone is having a relative, close relative, who has been diagnosed with breast cancer at an early stage, or in early age, or in advanced stage, definitely the risk is very high. So you must have heard the story of Angelina Jolie. Again, she underwent gene panel and she found that she had high risk, and she underwent bilateral mastectomy and reconstruction. All everybody really can't afford to do that, but at least we can be aware that okay, we have family history, and definitely we can do a gene panel. Gene panel will not cost more than 25,000-30,000. You will know the risk of cancer, so that you can be more aware of yourself.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you so much.
So you said it is hereditary for mentioning various stages, various conditions. Is it the same even for men? Does the same rule apply even for men?
Yes, see, in men also, yeah, if somebody is having breast cancer, yes, definitely there's risk. But see, in men, when coming to specifically in case of men, there are varied cancer like pancreatic cancers, colorectal cancers, prostate cancers, lung cancer. Definitely, they all have risk of AIDS. So if somebody is having there is a history of family, history of cancer, definitely they should be more aware. They should not do smoking and all this, because somebody is having family history. If you take two people, someone is having family history of cancer, someone is not having family history of cancer, and both of them smoke, the person who is having the family history of cancer has high risk of developing cancer compared to the other person. So family history is very important in all cancers.
Okay. I mean, this is one case I came across where father had, I think, prostate cancer, mother had cervical cancer. Well, whether the daughter is at high risk or the son is at a high risk, grandchildren are at high risk. How is it, sir?
Usually, yes, if there is a, you're asking all hypothetical questions are really tough questions you're asking me, but yeah, that's good. Yes, if the father is having prostate cancer, there's a high risk of a son developing prostate cancer. But when it comes to females, usually breast cancers, endometrial cancers, not cervical cancer. There's a distinction between cervical cancer and uterine cancer. Both are little different. So cervical cancer is not very commonly seen in family history, but definitely endometrial cancer, if she's having a daughter, definitely uterine cancer, the chances of developing uterine cancer is very high, and breast cancer is high if there's a daughter.
How is the implication of grandchildren, sir?
Very less. If again their immediate kids are not having cancer, the chance will be much less for grandchildren.
Okay. Apart from taking the regular tests, if there is a history of cancer, what are the other things that needs to be done, sir?
Sorry, Shalini, I didn't get your question properly.
It's Kalyani.
Sorry,
who
Kalyani,
asked-
I'm so sorry. Kalyani, sorry, I didn't get your question properly.
Like somebody has had the family history. So apart from going in for regular checkups, what are the other precautions that we need to take, even if we are healthy?
There is really nothing much we can do. If you're healthy and really be aware of yourself, there's really nothing much you can do. Just you have to be adopt a healthy lifestyle. There's some question, I think I was just checking before you ask a question. I think I missed a question. Somebody, Shalini was asked, that's why Shalini's name came in my mind. She's asking something, does cancer? Actually, I didn't, I'm not getting this question properly. Shalini, what is that you want to ask, Shalini?
Yeah, I'm not able to see the question itself.
She asked, I think, she was asking something about COVID related cancer, something she was asking.
Maybe she's directly asked you. We are not able to see that.
Okay.
Shalini, can you just unmute and talk if you don't want to come on the video? Just ask your question, please.
Yes, Sister Revati has raised her hand and now she's
Yeah,
lowered
just
it.
a second. I have a question. Does cancer as essential or develop in COVID-19 pass out patients because they are taken up with less immunity power? The basic.
No, yeah, actually, I'll tell you just related to COVID and cancer. What happens? I don't know if the question, I'll put the question in both the ways and then answer you, because I don't know what she was meaning, but I'll tell you both the ways. Usually in cancer patients, it is not uncommon to have developed COVID-19, because we have seen for many patients, especially who are taking chemotherapy, to develop COVID, because once they're on treatments with immunotherapies and different chemotherapies, the immunity will definitely come down, and they have been affected with COVID-19. So we always advise the patients to take COVID vaccine, even taking a gap in the chemotherapy or after surgery, immediately after surgery, we ask them to take vaccination. And second thing, if she's asking that if somebody is having COVID-19, is there a chance of developing cancer? And this is actually a question which has been contemplated by many doctors, because it's caused by the RNA virus. Yes, we are contemplating it could cause, most probably after 5 years down the line, we might be seeing few cancer-related cases related to COVID-19. This is also we are contemplating. I think both the ways, whatever she has asked, I think I answered the question. If she wants to know if COVID-19, if cancer patients can get COVID-19, yes, definitely, because they have low immunity, they have a chance of getting COVID-19. Definitely, it's there.
Sister Revati has a question.
Yeah, thank you, Kalyani. Doctor, like generally, the once when the child is born, like, they say the traditional method of lactating mothers, especially is for 2 years. Like in those days, the nurses and I can say mothers or mother-in-laws, they encourage ladies to feed the child, I mean the infant, for say 2 years. Definitely, and also they say some researchers have proven that breast cancers will not occur if they try to breastfeed the children for longer time. So is it true, doctor? Is it anything connected to breastfeeding and cancer? Is anything connected?
Definitely, when
Thank you.
a woman does breastfeeding, the chances of developing breast cancer come down significantly. But it's not correct to say that somebody is lactated, they won't develop breast cancer. No, that's not true. But definitely the risk of getting a breast cancer definitely comes down. But yes, previously, not only 2 years, Ravati ji, even I heard from my grandparents, they were breastfeeding till age of 5 years. That also I heard. So it was quite longer time at that time. But nowadays, yes, I think beyond 9 months or 1 year, people are not doing breastfeeding because of many reasons. Again, because people are, so many females are working women and because they have their own compulsion. There's so many other reasons for there. But definitely, even if someone does breastfeeding for at least a period of 6 to 8 months, that provides significant immunity or significantly decreases the risk of developing breast cancer.
Sorry, doctor. One more thing, like generally there are these herbal medicines and all where mothers will try to take those to induce the better production of milk. Like some they have inadequate milk capacity, or I mean So is this anything related to that? Because I've seen my sister-in-law using those herbal Ayurvedic tablets to generate more milk because she was having the problem of inadequate milk, and the baby always was a little unfed, in the sense inadequate food, and she used to cry very frequently. So is it, doctor, is anything connected to the breast cancer? Anything like when you're taking some artificial medicines to boost the production? I'm sorry, like I mean, this is the last question, but
no, please, feel free to
I
ask
connected to
questions.
the previous question. Yes.
Yeah, no, it is very unlikely. It's very unlikely because of those tablets or medication. It is unlikely to develop cancer because of that.
Thank you.
Tabassum has raised her hand, so please go ahead, Sister Tabassum.
Hello.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So actually, I believe that each and every part of our body is prone to cancer. Is that so, doctor? So each and every part of our body is prone to cancer, but there are what triggers this cell is something which I have a doubt. I mean, something has to be the trigger to trigger the cells to multiply or grow. What exactly are those triggers or something? Any points which you could discuss so I can keep it in my mind?
See, one thing is, our body is subjected to constant injuries from the morning to night, throughout 24 hours. Constantly, we use a word called insult to the body. Constant injury, insult, constant affecting our immune system. Constant immune system being attacked, especially by the food we take. Because nowadays you're seeing a lot of preservatives, chemicals. Can you name one product which is free of chemicals? I don't really come to my mind anything. Bananas, apples, or anything, milk or anything. I don't know if there's any product which we are taking today is free of adulteration or chemicals. So constantly we are being subjected to a lot of stress. One thing, because the food which we intake is very important. Apart from that, we are subjecting ourselves with smoking, alcohol intake. Again, this is also causing injury to the immune system. Apart from that, excess stress. Stress is one of the main important factors. So it should be, as much as possible when you're taking food, try to see if you can get some preservative-free food. Nowadays, not of natural foods are available. Farm fresh food, something available. So try to see that you're not taking all these food containing pesticide. Even I strongly recommend somebody taking soft drinks, colas and all. They also contain a lot of preservatives and all. try to minimize, because it will be unfair for me to stop all that, but try to minimize as much as possible. So the calories and
So all this triggers those cancer cells to grow?
Exactly, because once the immune system is weakened, see what happens. Tabassum, I want to be little. I'll just extend my answer here because I didn't want to make it a PG answer, so I was trying to cut short. But I would like to extend a little bit. So what happens every day and night is our body keep producing excess cells, unwanted cells.
Yes.
We don't know that constantly our body keeps producing unwanted cells in the body, which are harmful or useless. Our immune system keep removing them. Every day and night, the work of immune system identifies unwanted or harmful cells and keeps removing them. But once the immune system is lowered or the unwanted cells are triggered. So what is triggering unwanted cells is stimulus like stress, smoking, drinking, pesticide, all these chemicals. We call them as carcinogenics. So the two things, there's a balance, like imbalance. One is carcinogens attacking the body to produce excess unwanted cells. At the same time, the other factors which are reducing the immunity. So we should have the proper balance. Whenever if the immunity is low or we are ourselves exposed to the factors which are triggering the excess production of cells, definitely there is cancer in the body. So I told what are the factors affecting the triggering the cancer cells. I think I answered your question, Tabassum.
Yes.
Or you are still not clear?
Yes, but in the process, does the good cells also get damaged?
No. I'm telling unwanted and excess cells.
Okay. Thank you so much, doctor.
But sometimes what happens, if someone develops cancer, these cancer cells, when they start growing, they're so smart, they bypass our immune system. So they mask and they bypass it. Like, I'll give a very simple example. If you're going on a way, night from a pub somewhere, we see police having drunk and drive somewhere. So we know how to bypass that police checkpoint, and we'll go, okay, we're not having license. I don't want to use the word pubs and drinking. Yeah, if you're not having license and police are checking the license, you get information from some friend, police checkup is there. So you'll bypass the road and go through other way. It is similar. They bypass the immune system and they start growing. That's also one way our cancer cells grow.
Okay. Sometimes it happens you have a lump and cancer in the breast, and suddenly you have something in your leg too. I have seen in patients. I have seen in people. I don't know, the cancer grows without any connection. There's no connection, but still through the, I don't know, the blood vessels or what they.
Yes, it spreads through blood vessels. Yes.
It grows in one part, suddenly it grows from another part, which is not.
Yes.
There's no connection.
It spreads to cancer. Always spreads to other parts of the body.
Okay. Recently, one of my cousin sisters, she's in early 20s and she got breast cancer, but she got detected in stage 2 and she's okay now.
That's what I was mentioning. Nowadays, we are getting females in very early age.
In 20s, she's 26.
See, nowadays we are seeing more and more unmarried females. To be honest here, though I'm not trying to scare anyone of you, but we are getting more females who are unmarried, like late 20s, early 30s.
Okay. Thank you, doctor.
So anybody has got any other question?
Is Afra trying to talk? We have Afra, Zeba, Nisa. Is anyone trying to talk? I see that as a high or a raised hand. I don't understand.
Yeah, Afra's raised her hand. She's probably raised her hand in the chat. Is she asking the question?
Not sure.
Anybody else has got any question? Because we are there on time. Sir logged in early too. Thank you so much, sir.
Afra is not able to unmute herself. You could type a question maybe.
Wait, let me see if I can unmute her.
I think we'll make hers as the last question, Kalyan.
Yeah. So I've unmuted Afra.
Hi.
Yeah.
Sir, I just wanted to know whether this irregular periods and all, no, like that PCOD cases, etc. It has any connection with this cancer? Many
Yeah,
are, many have these problems like fibroid and all. So just my question, I don't know whether it is related to this and all.
Afraji, though your question, the last question, the very important question you asked. Yes, PCOD may not really related to cancer, but it is very important to identify on regular basis whether the symptoms are just because of PCOD or anything else, or just fibrosis or anything else. Because what happens, many times there'll be overlap of few things: ovarian cancer, PCOD, breast cancer, PCOD, uterine cancer. So there's overlap of few things here. So though PCOD really won't lead to cancer, you should always make sure that the symptoms are only because of PCOD and we are not missing other things.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So anybody else has got any question, please feel free to reach out to Sister Hema or me. I have given the email address. You can write to that. We can go about checking with sir and reverting with the answer. Considering the time, I think we'll have to hard stop over here. So once again, on behalf of the entire Wiki team
Kalyani, can I give a last note?
Sure, sir, please.
And just I won't take long.
Please
No,
go
because
ahead,
I have been bombarded with once after the sad image of Puneet Rajkumar. I have been bombarded with so many messages in the inbox day in and day out about exercise and all. So many people are getting scared whether to do for exercise, what is happening. Like some messages saying that you should not do good exercise. Some people are telling all sorts of confusion is going on in social media and other places. I would just like to give a small input about this. You should definitely go for regular exercise, but only you do how much your body is able to do. There'll be some days your body may not have excess energy. Some days there'll be energies are low, some days energies are high. And most important is to have good sleep. Good sleep is very, very important for anything. So good sleep is important, and you only do the exercise how much your body is accepting. And apart from that, you should always be aware of your vitamins like vitamin D, vitamin B12, a complete blood picture, cardiac conditions. These things should have regular checkup. And sugars and triglycerides levels, because see, we are constantly seeing someone in mid-40s only having this problem. Series of celebrities, even I have seen our own doctors, not someone outside, I don't want to talk about celebrities in our own doctors. I have seen people who are fitness freaks in mid-40s, people collapsing. So what is happening is you should always be aware of other parameters also in the body. How are your triglycerides doing? How are the sugars doing? Blood picture, vitamin D, B12. All these things are also important. Just not only going and doing exercise, gym won't keep you fit. You should always be aware of other things also in the body. Otherwise, just have good sleep and good food are more important.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Kalyani.
That really is so helpful, because this was reeling in many people's head. I just happened to see one show before I could connect on this call. I was just seeing the glimpse where people were asking similar questions to some doctors on some TV show, on some Telugu channel. That was, this is happening to this person, this is happening, why the diagnosis is not happening. You correctly said, so good sleep and food is ultimately needed. When people don't take that, obviously anything can trigger, but it's must. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for
Try sharing the videos. Just try sharing the videos.
yeah.
We are just trying to spread some awareness through some videos. Just try sharing it.
1 second. Let me just
Are you trying?
Yeah, 1 second. Let me just open the video and then come.
I have it on my desktop. I can try if you want.
That way it becomes easy than opening it, because I don't. Yeah, I got it. 1 second. 1 second. I will. So, do you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Sound is not there.
No audio.
Is there something that I have? Share sound. Okay. Let me.
She stood in the storm, and when the wind did not blow her away, she adjusted her sail. Cancer is just a chapter in life, not the whole story. Your illness cannot define you. Your strength and your courage does. Fight back.
Just a second.
Hi, all of you. Cancer is one sad phase of life, but not the end. Doctors may treat with all the medicines in the world, but the will to heal is within you. There are two options: either you can give up or you can fight like hell. Can go anywhere, wherever it wants. Nobody can stop it. But it can't take away your attitude, it can't take away your faith. The best thing to do is take one day at a time, stay positive, and keep your head up. Whenever you feel down, please remember what may seem like the most devastating phase of your life. It might turn out to be a whole new world of possibilities. You will turn out to be a new individual. So, fight cancer, fight till you win.
Namaste, my name is Kalyani. I know cancer is a disease that many people have been fighting, they have battling. It's been happening for ages, and thanks to the medical science that they are doing their best to go about changing things. And it is a great news that it can be cured even at the level of fourth stage. If any of you are battling with cancer, please have faith you can do it. You just need that faith in that medication that the doctors are giving to you, that you will be healed. You can kick the butt of the disease with the medicines and with your willpower. You are a born warrior, especially women who are battling with breast cancer, cervical cancer, or uterus cancer. You're more than conquerors. Have faith in your medication. Have faith in God that you can kick this disease out. You will be winner at the end of the day, and you will be an example, a testimony for many other women out there telling you have conquered the disease. So my request is be motivated, be positive, and have faith in God and in the medicines that the doctors are giving to you, in the treatment that the doctors are giving to you. You can do it. Wish you all the best. Our prayers with you. You can make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Hema, for reminding that. So thank you one and all who made it today. Ziba has asked a question, sir. Ziba has asked a question. Do you want to ask now?
Hello, everyone. Yes, ma'am, I need to ask you a question to Malik, sir, actually.
Sir,
yeah, Zivaji, please go ahead.
Sir, myself, Zaiba from Tumkur. So I need to ask you a question. Actually, I'm actually 31. Like 31 is just started for me. I've completed my 30 years, and I'm a mother of 2 children. Actually, after my first pregnancy, sir, is it audible, sir? Can you hear me?
Yes, you're audible.
Sir, after my first pregnancy, like I gave birth to a daughter, and after 3 months, I was forced to stop her feeding, sir. Actually, I was Biologically, I was like, I was like, I wanted to feed her, but she stopped. She stopped taking a milk, and like I had to take a medicine to stop the feeding. And in my second pregnancy, after my son's delivery, I got dengue fever after 3 months. And then there also doctor suggested me that it is better you have to stop feeding your son because you are under medication and it will be problematic for your son. So even in the second pregnancy, after 3 to 4 months of natural breastfeeding, I had stopped. So and even first time I've left side of my breast has been cut open and pus formation was there. I have come across all these things. And then I wanted to ask you, like, all these things, like I have forcibly, I've taken a medicine, injection, and some of the tablets the doctors gave me to stop the feeding. Is it a precursor of cancer, or will it lead to a breast cancer? Even I have a family history of cancer also. My grandfather, my father, all have suffered from a cancer, sir. And I'm an elder daughter of my father. So I wanted to ask you this question.
Yeah, Zebaji,
Yes,
all
sir.
the situations you mentioned above doesn't lead to cancer. First thing, keep your mind free of that fear.
Yes,
that's
sir.
very important. But still,
Okay,
since you have, since you mentioned that you have a family history of cancer, from
Yes,
the
sir.
age of 35 years, if not
Yes, sir.
digital mammography, please try to go for sonomammography. That's done with ultrasound. Go for sonomammography at least once in a year. Definitely you should go.
Yes, sir. Okay.
But don't be afraid of inheriting cancer, but still just be aware and go for regular cervical pap smear. And see, nowadays what is happening when you go for a master health checkup, nowadays they're doing pap smear, mammography, everything they're doing in a package when you're going for a master health checkup. Nowadays, that's a good thing about master health checkup nowadays. So every year just go for a master health checkup and get all the tests done, so that even if something is there, you can catch it in a very early stage.
Okay, sir. Fine. Okay, sir. Sure. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for answering the question.
Thank you, sir.
And it is very useful, this one, sir. Thank you so much for giving the information which we were not knowing actually. So thank you so much.
So if there are no further questions, even if there are further questions, please write to us. And once again, thank you, sir. Very, very, very kind of you for coming again and taking up this session. We look forward for having a very nice, interactive, and something really different kind of a session for January, where we will have more participation, more women coming up, more men also participating in these sessions. We look forward. We will try to make the best out of it and have a beautiful session, definitely. And
thank you so much.
Thank you for one and all who participated in today's session. It was really interactive and thoroughly enjoyed it. And special thanks to Seema Chechi for coordinating and helping in this. And thank you, Sister Hema, for reorganizing this for the entire team who really needed to know so many questions, and very insightful session. So thank you one and all. Look forward for more such kind of sessions and more such kind of forums where we will bring out more information and help one another. And for all the finalists and contestants, all the best. Just whether the winning or not, but you have already made it and you're more than conqueror, according to me.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you so much for the wonderful session. Thank you, Kalyani. Thank you.
Thank you, Chechi. So I think you can stop the recording, Chechi.
Yeah. I will send the email to you.
Yes, Chechi. In fact, yeah, you can send it across. I'll upload it onto the YouTube. Thank you all. I'm leaving it now.
Shall I end the meeting?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all. Thank you so much.